Ready for the mosh pit, Shaka Bra.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to StrangeCast, Player One vs. Life is Strange podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Adnan. My co-host Adam is here. Adam, you here?
I'm here. I'm back from break. I'm so relaxed because December is such a relaxing month, isn't it?
What an awful time to take a break.
I know.
The biggest news, like the only thing that could have like set it off more is like if Life is Strange 4 was announced. Like
Yeah.
it's just I couldn't believe like the timing of that, and obviously our predictions episode aged very terribly, and we didn't even get into 2024 as well, which is like
Yeah.
the worst
Yeah.
part about it.
Oh my god, yeah. No, we were just talking off camera that like I took this break in December and it's just like the worst possible month for like gaming news, and I work in a restaurant, so just like December is just not it, fam. So smart decisions all around.
Oh, of course, absolutely. And in itself as well, we are recording actually on New Year's Eve. So we'll be dropping just a couple of days after New Year's Day. So obviously, Happy New Year to everyone going to 2024. StrangeCast turns 3 in March as well, I believe. So that's a nice little milestone for us to hit.
Yeah.
We'll be 3 years old on that. But obviously, loads to talk about, a lot to talk about as well on here. And I know, I imagine the thumbnail and the title as well, there'll be a lot of stuff to talk about Lost Records finally as well. But before that as well, if you are new here, please do drop a subscribe on the channel, turn notifications, like the video and share with your friends. It helps support the channel. A lot of content on the channel. If you do listen to us just on podcast services, do come to the YouTube channel. We do a lot of reaction videos. We do interviews as well as an interview with Olivia Lucia, who worked at Lowbirth, who worked on This Bed We Made, Life is Strange Inspired title. There's been reaction videos from me and Lost Records, a lot of content. So do come and subscribe to the channel because it helps you keep up to date with what we're doing outside of podcasts. And obviously, again, StrangeCast as well is available on all podcast services. So you're available on Apple Podcasts, you're available on Spotify with a video version, everything. And also as well, if you are listening on Spotify, please do drop us a rating because we have 12 ratings and we're grateful to every person who has rated us. And we're on, I think, 4.8 rating, which is amazing to see as well. So please do rate us if you do listen to Spotify because we have over 150 followers on there, which is wild. With that all the way, Adam, should we kick things off?
Yes, I clicked the link.
Yes, you've clicked the link, so that is our first piece of news. Very interesting piece of news. I think most people have kind of forgotten about this, I think, a little bit. I think it's an interesting time to release it when they did. But we're going to go to, which is this website, AIPT, and we got Anatomy of a Scene, Life is Strange, Forget Me Not, Issue 1. So this was published on the November 29th, but we're going to cover it because I think it's interesting. Courtesy of Titan Comics, AITP can exclusively share the anatomy of a scene, courtesy of Life is Strange, Forget Me Not 1 artists, Claudia Leonardi and Andrea Izzo. The series launched on December 13th, wherever comics are sold, and it features featuring a story written by Zoe Thorogood. So let me just run you through some of the stuff that I found this fascinating that they actually did this as well, like as a little piece. It's Claudia Leonardi and Andrea Izzo who are basically going to run you through the scene. So we're on a bus, just for context, and Steph and Alex are there. This is the first part from Claudia Leonardi, and it says, "This page is the first time in the comics we see the inside of the school bus, the girls repurposed as a mobile home. So I knew I had to start this page with a large panel where we can see some of the interior of the bus, where the next pages take place, and start to show some decorations Alex and Steph brought with them from Haven Springs. One other important part of this page is the kiss. I kept it borderless and overlapping the rest of the panels because it interrupts not just the conversation Alex and Steph are having, but the framing of the page. It breaks the rhythm of reading for just a moment, creating a sort of bubble where the time the girls are experiencing it is slightly expanded." And Andrea Izzo added, "I started with flat colors using the character colors and the ones I chose for the interior of the bus. Here I start adding the shadows and the light sources, trying to highlight the most important elements on each panel." So that is that part. Don't know if the rest of this page is thingy. Is it just that part of the quote? I'm missing something.
I'm looking for it too, and I can't see.
Oh, that's the entire article. Ah, okay. So that is the entire article, actually.
And I have an ad for Nike.
Yeah,
that's just not going anywhere.
Actually, one more thing. So we got another part here from Andrea Izzo. So, and this is where adverts plague my tablet completely. So he said, "Lastly, I added other lights, shadows, and effects like the ones from the fairy lights to give the page the right mood. In this case, I created a contrast between the cold colors in the foreground to underline Alex's feelings and the warmer colors in the background because the bust represents the idea of home for Alex and Steph. So that is the article, because obviously, as I said, Forget Me Not is available. I thought it was a fascinating piece just to read in itself. I love that they kind of did this as well. I wish more people did this, not just for artists, but also like, music, etc. I think it's quite cool to see behind the scenes. But yeah, Forget Me Not is now available. I haven't actually picked up myself. I don't pick up individual comics per se. I'm more of a volume person, so I'll be waiting for when the first volume comes out, and then I imagine we'll probably have a chat about it then. But all quite exciting, and it's nice to obviously see Claudia Leonardi back as well. Claudia Leonardi worked on the Life is Strange comic series involving Emma Vicelli's arc, and then obviously Andrea Izzo did the colouring as well for both of them. I found it quite fascinating how she painted that scene, because I think obviously most times you just pick up the comic, start reading it, read the dialogue. It seems like, really beautiful to look at, but there's obviously a finer detail of like, the aesthetic that they're doing, and especially with Andrea saying like this color represents this color represents this color. I find it all quite fascinating.
Yeah, it goes into more the effect that as you're reading comics, like everything is intentional, and I think that's where a lot of people like strive against in terms of like seeing art or seeing anything that a digital art piece. It's like, oh, that's cool, and then you flip to the next page, you don't see the intentionality behind it. I especially like how it starts with a large panel. Like intentionally speaking, like the page will start with a large panel. So yeah, it's just really cool to see that like everything in this one page has all the intentionality put behind it.
Yeah, it is quite interesting. I just even think about like, even with the panels as well, like why one panel's bigger than the other, and like how you'd set. I just like comics. I've always enjoyed reading comics. I've always enjoyed reading graphic novels, and I found them to be quite interesting. But it's like I've always been like looking in the background to see the subtle things. I never really realized that you want this big panel to kind of be the introductory shot, and there's such a fine art with building this. So nonetheless, I thought it was a very interesting kind of conversation to be had. I'm interested to read the story anyway by Zoe Foragood. Like, I'm so interested in Alex and Steph and see what they do with it. It seems like we're not done with them for a while as well, so I think like they're going to keep going with this as well. I wouldn't be surprised if Alex is like a main character in another Life is Strange game. I feel like they obviously, it feels like the first time Life is Strange outside the Don't Nod series has had its own kind of like character. So it feels like they're really invested in this. But yeah, I'd be interested. And if you have picked it up as well, do leave us your thoughts in the comments. Let us know what you think of it so far, because it'd be quite interesting to see that. Adam, anything else to add?
I forgot this came out.
Yeah, I think most people have, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie. I swear I saw some like Reddit posts and stuff where people were like, has this actually come out? And I'm like, yep, it's come out. And I'm like, yeah.
I was completely focused on the next Life is Strange novel that I completely forgot that, and I took a break in December. I should have remembered, but December, not the greatest time to take break.
That novel, is it called Heat Waves? Life is Strange Heat Waves
coming out on your birthday.
Oh yes, yeah, I forgot about that. There we go. Birthday. What a time! What a time to be alive here for that day. Anyway, let's move into our next piece of news. Still in the comics, so I thought it was quite interesting, and it gives us a bit more of a different conversation. I'm taking this from a Twitter user called Amy at Chen's Heaven. It's actually one of the pages early in the comic series, just more so the synopsis on here. So it gave us a kind of understanding of more about Forget Me Not, because we have this idea of like where the series is going, and in terms of the comics at least, but a little bit more expanded details. So I'll just read out the page quickly here. So I'm going to read it from the second line, and it's gone. Yep, back. Anyway, Forget Me Not takes place in a timeline much like the one you know from Life is Strange: True Colors, but with certain key differences. In this timeline, for instance, infamous Arcadia Bay residents Rachel Amber and Chloe Price fulfilled their dream of escaping to sunny California, and Max Caulfield never returned from Seattle. Ooh, dun dun dun. Here, the future is yet unwritten, and the past is full of surprises. After the death of her mother, Alex Chen was cast adrift in the foster care system, struggling for years with her quote-unquote curse, the ability to sense, absorb, and even manipulate the emotions of other people with her psychic power of empathy. On leaving the foster care, she reconnected with her older brother Gabe in the small town of Haven Springs, Colorado. I'm going to skip the next part because we're reading the same thing here. We know Life is Strange Colors at this point. Okay, let's read from this point. As a former resident of Arcadia Bay and student at Blackwell Academy, Steph Gingrich knows Chloe and Rachel of old. After high school, Steph left Seattle, where she bounced around the punk scene as a drummer. It was whilst on tour with her two-piece band, Drugstore Makeup, that Steph first discovered Haven Springs, and the rest is history. After revealing the truth of Gabe's death, Alex and Steph left town to start their own band and are now road tripping across the states, trying to build a name for themselves, one dive bar at a time. So the main pieces from this, anyway, from this image, is the fact that we now have kind of an idea of Max, Chloe, and Rachel, and where they're up to in the series. And a very interesting part, because we have that little piece in the detail of it that we know that Kate Marsh is dead in this. Kate Marsh cannot catch a break in this series, or like in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
But we have the confirmation that we now have a timeline where Rachel Amber and Chloe Price fulfill their dream. They escape to sunny California, and Max never returned to Seattle. How very interesting. Because it feels like most of the series you could basically like just start a continuation, couldn't you, off like one universe, but this is where we can kind of start being a bit more creative, can't we, with the different universes we explore.
I do like this. I do appreciate this one comment, and then Amy replies to it. No Max at all? Well, I don't need to read it then. And Amy replies, okay. It's just like I'm liking that one. That's great. No, this is an interesting timeline where, yeah, it's not even like a canon that we know of from the games. It's just a totally separate timeline, which I appreciate. I appreciate that they took that leap on that. That they're not just following on one single timeline where Life is Strange is all about alternative timelines. That's the whole thing about the game. So they actually took their time with they took time with making different timelines. So I appreciate the author for doing this. So yeah, good on them.
Yeah, I find it quite interesting that, like, in itself, because like in the Vicelli series, like some of my favorite scenes were like, I mean, there's one where it's like Max, where Rachel asks about her other self to Max. So it's like basically have Rachel and Max in the room who've never really been in a room together and interacting, and then Rachel of that universe is asking what the Rachel of her universe is like. And it's like with this one now, I imagine Chloe Price and Rachel Amber will cross paths with these two again, but it's like there's going to be no conversation about Max essentially at this point, because it's like Rachel doesn't really know Max aside from what probably Chloe told her, and Chloe's like really distant with her now. So
yeah,
all quite interesting piece that I kind of I like the fact that you can basically, they have these comic series where they can kind of like diversify the content. And it's like we'll make all these different creative like avenues for stories and stuff. So it's like it might not be for everyone, but I think it's quite interesting that they took that approach. And I think in itself what it might be to take the attention away from Max, Chloe, and Rachel, to be honest, as well, because this is Alex and Steph's story. So instead of being like, oh, we're going to see Max turn up because like Max needs to turn up, it's like, no, Max isn't here, so don't worry about it. But it'd be interesting if she makes a cameo. That'd be quite interesting to see how they represent Max nonetheless. So all quite interesting. Next piece of news.
Yes, and I have not watched the trailer that you sent me.
So we're not going to discuss the trailer. I just thought it was a very cool like topic to put in here. So this is so random, and I'm not going to take credit myself finding it. This was on Life is Strange's Reddit page, the fan page. There's a trailer that was dropped 2 weeks ago from when we're recording. So it was, when did it drop now? Is it an exact date? Oh god, YouTube is
the
terrible.
Trailer 2 weeks ago, it said December 13th. December 13th, when the comic dropped. Yeah.
Perfect timing. So this is a trailer for Miller's Girl. So if you haven't watched it, go and watch it before you like continue this podcast, and then you can resume it. So
as I have not seen it.
So you don't even need to watch the trailer for what it is. It's more about the hearing part of this. So it's Martin Freeman. You didn't listen? Oh my god.
No, I didn't even hear it. Wait. Can you tell me? Hold on.
You better not get this channel's copyright strike.
I'm hearing.
There we go. We're getting live reaction. He's hearing it. He's
Oh, that's wild, dude.
So
that's wild.
We got a live reaction, which that's made up for you, the fact that you didn't watch it. I'm happy that you did that for live. So yeah. In the trailer, like I don't really care about the film, I don't care about anything else. It's got Martin Freeman, Jenna Ortega, but the music in there will be very familiar for people who play Life is Strange, because it is the daughter soundtrack for Life is Strange Before the Storm. It is music from Before the Storm, and it features Burn It Down from that soundtrack.
Yes.
I thought it was so cool. That is so wild. So I just, because obviously that is just music made for Before the Storm, isn't it? It's, the album that Daughter released is called Music from Before the Storm, but
Yeah.
they actually use it in a movie trailer, which is mad for like a big film as well to be released. They're dropping the music in there. So it's a very small piece of news. We're not discussing the details of the trailer. Don't worry, Adam. Like, you don't have to like watch it. Like, we need to talk about Miller's Girl.
No,
or
I'm
anything,
very interested because Jenna Ortega has been blowing up lately. Like, good on her career because she is a very talented actress, and I'm happy that she's actually getting roles outside of Scream. Yeah. So I'm glad she didn't become the new Scream girl.
Well, she's got a lot of time on her hands now as well because of how Scream's production's literally fallen apart from the seams. So it's like, she's not becoming the Scream girl at this point. It's
like, well, like thankfully, like she didn't like put all her eggs in that basket, and now she's going other places. So it's good. So I'm definitely going to be watching this trailer. I'm following Jenna Ortega's career, so like it's really nice. But yeah, to have specifically, like you said, not just a Daughter song, because that would be cool enough. Like, oh, Daughter is getting, but Daughter specifically from Life is Strange Before the Storm, which I have on vinyl. So that's yeah.
By the way, as well, we will do an episode about this at some point. Those composers on that series as well, and specifically Daughter and Jonathan Morelli, but Daughter and oh my god, that music from Before the Storm album.
You keep talking.
Oh, I'm talking.
Keep the listeners distracted. I'm gonna grab it.
He's grabbing the vinyl. This is why you should be watching the video version. If you're on Apple Podcasts or something else, this is all going to be visual now because this man has like left me here, ran off, and he's going finding the vinyl. But like the fact that he owns the vinyl, which is really sweet, and I think I own the vinyl as well. Actually, I do think I own the vinyl. Huh.
I'm back. Don't worry.
So I by the way, I
wait.
Oh, he's playing Max.
Did you keep him distracted?
I just did a little bit. I don't own that vinyl, but I own smaller vinyls because I got them in the collection.
Yeah.
But you have the big one. He's got the big one. There it is. And the artwork.
And the best part about this, one, look at that art in that sleeve right there. And two, it's nice and gray. It's such a great palette. Oh, it's so gorgeous. The back of it, it's all like beautiful watercolors. Oh, so nice.
By the way, did you know vinyl sales have gone up this year? Oh,
they have because of T Swifty.
T Swizzle. She's done the bits.
Listen, if I can keep my hobby alive, that vinyls stay alive because of T Swifty, dude, like I know she's like killing off the trees with her jet fuel. But listen, man, I got a hobby that I want to keep alive, dog. Just like I'll plant the trees myself, man.
By the way, I love that. That's a divisive issue at the minute in the T Swift universe.
It is
her, like flying, and I'm like, I never would have thought like on my bingo card 2023 Taylor Swift's jet fuel tracking to go and watch these NFL matches. Is it NFL her boyfriend?
Yes, NFL. Travis Kelce.
Travis Kelce, yeah.
Tight end for the Chiefs.
Mad that Travis Kelce made her famous. It's wild that.
Yeah, like that's the thing. It's like out of all the things she could get controversy for, is the jet fuel. I'm like, huh. Yeah, like you said, like I would not have it on my bingo card. You know, it's like Taylor Swift gets under controversy over environmental watches. I'm just like, okay. I mean, there's other corporations that really kill the environment too, but are we not going to pay attention to those just T Swifty because she's popular? That's nice. We're not going to focus on how you keep ordering things on Amazon, and Amazon has loads and loads of trucks fueled and killing the ozone, but you keep ordering from Amazon. No, let's focus on T Swifty here. That's fine.
The priority is
it's not to say that like she's also not guilty, but like she's not the guilty. Like she's not the person.
Yeah, she's not causing that much damage. My favorite one is just like because her fans are so like loyal is when someone's like Travis made her famous and like people start reacting towards it. It's like such an easy hook. It's like mad. No one ever knew who she was before like Travis came out.
Get the hell out of here. No one knew who Travis Kelce was before T Swifty. Get out of here.
It always catches someone. I'm like, I always laugh at it. But yeah, I thought we'd bring up Miller's Girl anyway because I think that was quite interesting that we had the music from Before Storm and then go and watch it as well. It's quite surreal watching it, having followed like Life is Strange for so long and then
and you can go pick up this vinyl. Oh no, you can't, because this was a record store day exclusive. So only, I think only 2,000 were printed.
Damn.
I think it's very, very limited. I don't know for sure, but I know that I got this on Record Store Day in 2018. I want to say.
By the way,
but
heaven forbid anything ever happens to your house, but I imagine like if you and like your house burned down, and you and Liz were standing outside, you'd be like, Liz, I need to go back in. It's like, yeah, Adam, get the dog, and he comes running out with the vinyl instead. Like, where's the dog?
All my vinyl collection in my arms. Where's the dog?
But I've got music from before the storm here. I've kept that safe. Don't worry.
I got this. I got my George Harrison vinyls. We're good. We're fine.
By the way, it'd be really cool if the opportunity ever came that you got a daughter to sign that. That would be like the peak.
Oh god, yeah, dude. That would be the dream.
It'd be so.
I am trying to find out if 2017. That's my bad. And there are 3 for sale for $200. I wanted to see if there's like information if like there was a limited run. I can't. It feels find like it. Sure.
I have a vinyl of it, but I have it in the Before the Storm collection that they released, the big one, physical. If you've ever seen it.
I have seen it, and I'm jealous of you. There's a statistic that says under 2,000 have it, so maybe it is 2,000. So that's cool.
That is quite cool.
But yeah, no, that's just my little diverging from the actual topic at hand. So
anyway, let's move on from Miller's Girl. But also we're going to go to a very small.
Yes, I was right. Here. Sorry, I did get it. 2,000 copies in
2,000 copies. Ooh.
So there's one of them.
And then think about how many have been destroyed or like lost already. It's probably like you're already inside probably maybe like the 1,700s, 1,800s at least by now.
Honestly, dude. So yeah, this is in nice condition, and I play it all the time, and I don't care. And people are like, "Oh, you gotta keep it, it pristine." No, screw you. I'm gonna play this all day, every day.
that music's in my Apple library, and when I go for like runs and stuff, which I will be going after this podcast, but when I go for runs, it always comes on. I just want to stand there and be like, burn it down.
Yeah, exactly, dude.
So it's just so good.
So beautiful.
Anyway, Adam, should we move into our next piece of news? Very small piece.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, so Deck 9 decided to cap off 2023 in a great style as well on Twitter, or X as they call it nowadays, by posting a little lovely video, which is, ever wonder what bald guy scream from Life is Strange True Colors sounds like in different languages? We got you covered. So there's a video on there of Corwin, who worked on the mocap. We know Corwin, we've spoken about him on Life After Strange with some of the actors who worked with him. Lovely guy. He's talking about the fact that they basically had to localize bald guy scream because Life is Strange True Colors is released in more than one language, and it's released in very many languages, and we got a nice little compilation of bald guy scream in different languages. So I kind of want to kick things off here, Adam, with which bald guy language do you feel more closer towards, if anything?
Oh, Japanese.
Yeah, literally exactly.
Japanese one I'm listening to again. Japanese one I definitely fuck with.
Oh my god, yeah. I was genuinely like I think they're all quite funny in themselves, and Japan like sent me like wild. I was like that there's just raw. I've basically spent the last couple of weeks and months playing Yakuza games, and obviously when you have the Japanese dialect on, then you keep it like you don't use the dub and you just use it as original. Their emotions are so much more raw.
I know, dude.
And even with bald guy as well, where he's screaming, I was like, that sums up my year so far. I was like, that sums up 2023 for me. Japanese bald guy has literally nailed that.
And it's wild that like they're sharing this 2 years later. Like 2 years, like almost 3 years later at this point, that we're getting this, and it's just like, dang, dude, there's still like stuff about this game that we don't even know.
Yeah, I imagine that the actors who did ball guy in those like localized languages were probably actors who were doing other roles in the game as well, because it'd be mad if someone basically has been recruited just for like a 5-second audio clip.
Yeah, definitely. No, it's funny though.
It's really outstanding. Funny. But yeah, I thought we'd put that in there. And yeah, do go and check it out if you're on Twitter as well. It's hilarious as a clip for Deck 9, and kudos to Deck 9 for putting that out. Adam, next piece of news?
Yes, definitely.
So now the Life is Strange conversations end for now, because we're going to move into a lot of interesting details here. So I can't see the full tweet here. I can only see her second part tweet. So we're going to go to Macha Lopez.
I have the
Oh,
full
yeah,
tweet
please
here.
take it away.
So Macha Lopez
Marsha.
has quote tweeted Don't Nod by saying like we're thrilled to announce the first game at the Game Awards, that being Lost Records. And Masha says the game I worked on as a lead narrative designer for 3 years has been revealed. So proud. Purple Heart. And Kibble Wolf has said, what does lead narrative designer do exactly? I assume it doesn't mean you wrote the whole thing by yourself, but question mark with eyes. And you can read the
Yes,
actual quote.
thank you for picking that up. So yeah, Marsha responded with this, which she said, the answer is different for all studios. I was personally very invested in the writing of the story, dialogues, character arcs, and themes, but also in defining the narrative systems and features, the branching aspect of the narrative, and how this is reflected in the game's levels. So I thought it was quite interesting that she gave us perspective, because we've spoken about Marsha on StrangeCast for about 3 years as well. Marsha no longer works at Don't Nod Montreal. She was the lead narrative designer on Lost Records, Bloom Rage. She now works at EDOS Montreal. But I thought we'd bring it up because I thought it was quite interesting that she gave at least some kind of perspective of the role that she played, and someone had asked about it as well, and what she's actually worked on. And we feel like we want to use this podcast a lot to kind of spotlight the developers out there. It's easy to kind of like overlook a lot of people, but we've spoken about a lot of the developers who've worked on it. It's interesting to see their insight. But with Marsha, I thought it was very interesting what she's actually worked on, because I did think this for a long time, because we had Alejandro, I remember, and I thought to myself, like, what do you actually do in the most respectful way? I was like, what is your role? Because it's like when I have other people on and I talk to them, it's like even with the actors, you're in the booth essentially, or you're on mocap, and it's easy to define things. But like when we had Xandru's on from Deck 9, we had Stefan Frost on from Deck 9 as well. It's like they do so much stuff. So it's like it's harder to kind of just concentrate on one subject. So even with Marsha, I was thinking, it's like, what do you like talk to her about? Like, what did she actually work on? And then you like look at it and you're like, oh wow, it's like, damn, it's like there's a lot of stuff she's covered here, like a lot of stuff.
Writing the story, dialogues, character arcs, themes, designing narrative systems, branching aspects. So that's wild, and she's done that for 3 years. So the fact that she's done it for 3 years, and that's we're gonna be 3 in March. No, it kind of puts in perspective, because like anytime like you and I talked about Lost Records, or like we didn't know the VHS game, we're just like, oh, it's so far off from development. Oh, it's probably in oh, we don't know. We had no idea that she was doing this for 3 years, like designing all this. We always thought that it's like, oh, we're just figuring it out from here. But it looks like it was way far more in development than we ever suspected.
If you actually remember as well, in the predictions episode that we did for StrangeCast, we flip flopped a lot, because we were like, is it going to be revealed? If it's not going to be revealed, and then I even said towards like the end of the conversation, I said like Marsha left, and you said, oh yeah, I agree with that. Where it's like Marsha left after 3 years. It's like she ain't going to be like left very early on in development. Like she's been there for like years, and like in itself as well, Marsha has a background working with Don't Know. It's like Life is Strange 2. She worked on Tell Me Why, like massive history with Don't Know. So it's like she's like, obviously there's no way she's going to walk out the project like a year and a half into development. Like this game had to be quite far in development. I thought that there was like little, like they weren't at the finish line per se, so I was like, that's why I didn't expect a reveal, maybe potentially, but we got that. And also as well, speaking of Marsha as well, Adam, I thought I'd throw you this as well. So I thought this was really interesting. I was doing a bit of snooping after Marsha tweeted that. Marsha's got her own website. Please don't look it up yet. And she's obviously talked about her work on there as well, which is Tell Me Why, Life is Strange. And I wanted to pick something on the website. Caught my eye, and I wanted to talk to you about it. So you can't look at it right now. Don't search it up. No,
I'm already on the website, but okay.
Don't click on any links. Don't click on any links, because there's a certain character that Marsha had a big part to play in. Not in Lost Records, but Life is Strange 2. So character backstory document. She has like an entire profile piece on this character. So I'm going to ask you to try and guess who this character is. I'll give you 3 guesses. After each guess you get wrong, I'll give you a hint but it's a character from Life is Strange 2.
Life is Strange 2. Is it Cassie?
No, but very good guess though. So another hint will be this character appeared after episode 2.
Okay, okay. So we're talking like 3 to 5.
Yes.
Okay. Is it Penny?
No. Final guess, and I'll limit this down a little bit more. The person who has played this character has appeared on Life After Strange.
Is it Karen?
Yes.
Nice. Wow.
Yeah, she has a massive piece here. I was so surprised by it. So here she's put character backstory document Karen Reynolds from Life is Strange 2. For that character, the initial creative constraints from the game directors were that Karen was a woman who had turned her back on her kids and family to live a life of complete freedom, ultimately joining a community of dreamers in a desert commune in Arizona. Think Chloe Zhao's Nomadland. Writing Karen, backstory and all dialogue, was a very inspiring and exciting challenge for me because her rejection of motherhood initially painted her as a selfish, self-centered character. I tried giving her a voice and establishing who she was as a person to help players better understand where she was coming from and what her life had been like up to that point. We finally get to meet her. Jolene Anderson was nominated for Best Supporting Role at BAFTA 2022 for her part as Karen. That's a massive profile piece. I thought it was fascinating though. And also as well, definitely. It's a testament to why Karen is so good. Just to say that to Marsha as well, because it's like we both really like Karen. You like Karen as well, and yeah, it was just cool to see this that she had literally written all the dialogue and also played a part in the backstory of Karen for a very, very good character in Life is Strange 2.
That's wild. Yeah, no, and it's also cool that she also did it looks like she did a big part in Tell Me Why as well. Like she was like big on the dialogue in there. I really need to replay Tell Me Why pretty soon.
That I do as well. Yeah. I need to play that as well. I need to play that on my list of things. I want to play Tell Me Why at some point when I get an Xbox again.
Yeah.
And also I need to play.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. It's frustrating that. I need to do that, and then the other thing I need to do is play Life is Strange 2 this year. I want to play Life is Strange 2 at some point this year.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm planning on pretty soon, I think. I'm gonna replay the Life is Strange remastered collection on my Xbox, and I want to see because again, I still stand by when I played Life is Strange remastered on my Switch, it did just fine. But I want to replay it on my Xbox specifically because I want to see like, okay, is it fixed? Can I recommend this now? You know what I mean? So
yeah,
we shall see.
Yeah, we'll have to see that. I mean, did you come across a lot of the issues in the Switch?
No, not really. I mean, the performance was Switch quality. You know, like I'm not trying to say that like, oh my god, it was amazing. And I played it on my Switch Lite. I didn't even play on my OLED Switch. So we'll see on that. But no, from what I played on the Switch, on my Switch Lite, it actually performed pretty good. Like I'm not gonna lie to you. Like for a Switch port, it performed pretty good. So I'm not complaining about that one.
Oh, I've just heard some different perspectives where it's not necessarily been as great for other people, but I think I've seen a video where someone's like it crashed. I think after one of the 2 episodes or something, like it just wouldn't load up to the next episode or something.
Oh, on a Switch.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, it didn't do that for me.
I need to check that. By the way, I actually asked Olivia about this bed we made as well, like Nintendo Switch version, because it's now available on Xbox as well. This bed we made, which is Life is Strange inspired title from Low Birth Games. You should go and check it out. I would recommend it. But we were talking about it. I was going to ask him, but he brought it up himself. He's like, we didn't get on the Switch because of the limitations of the hardware. Because it's like we use Unreal Engine 5, and it's also like X, Y, Z, ABC. And I'm like, I was just about to ask you that, Olivia. I was like, this game feels so great for a Switch, but I was like, that would explain it. I was like, maybe Switch 2. I was like, maybe Switch 2 will be able to support it. So he's like, yeah, fingers crossed, like that could actually potentially happen. But nonetheless, as I said, we want to bring that up about Macha as well, and go and tweet at her as well and tell her how much you love Karen as well, because that was a great character, and she obviously played a massive part in that. And very excited to see what she does on Lost Records, because that's pretty much the rest of this conversation, this podcast now, because we're moving to our last piece of news before our main topic, which is obviously about Lost Records more than anything else. Adam, very interesting little interview here on Digital Trends with Luke Michel, and Frederica from Don't Nod Montreal, the trio. So
Yes.
we're not going to do the full breakdown of the trail of this entire like article. We'll kind of like weave in and out of it during the main topic conversation, and obviously as well, I've spoken about this on the channel as well, an entire breakdown of the article, so you can go and watch me talk about it there. Because there was a big reference about Yellow Jackets, not necessarily the ideas of Lost Records predating Yellow Jackets, but we'll come on to that a little bit later. But there was a certain piece I want to talk about because it's more about Life is Strange here, and I thought it was very interesting as well, and I thought it was very interesting to have a conversation. So in the article, it says Michel adds that Don't Nod referenced the strengths and shortcomings of Life is Strange's gameplay as it created Lost Records. He praised the rewind mechanic in Life is Strange for offering that agency, and critiqued Life is Strange 2's distance from those power-based consequences, even though it was thematically appropriate. With Lost Records, Bloom and Rage, Don't Nod wants to lean into giving player more agency. And I quote from Michel, "Something that we're trying to push more is giving the feeling of more agency to our players with our dialogue system. We make sure that you feel more connected with your character when you're talking, rather than just watching an interactive movie. Immediately, we're rewarded with the interaction. We're rewarded the interaction with the controller, so you feel like you're playing the game and not just playing a character who then makes the game evolve." I was wondering who's clapping. I was like, yeah,
that was me, because there's a specific scene in Life is Strange 2 where you put down the controller and it just plays out its own episode 2 rules. And I think I measured it. You put down a controller and just watch it for 7 minutes, 20 seconds or something like that. It's a ridiculous amount of time. So I
told you it's
appreciate
best
that.
episode.
God, no. Yeah, and like all my music is the greatest music of all time. Yeah, we're gonna lie about ourselves right there.
There we go. So we were all in agreement.
God, yes.
So obviously,
yeah,
as I said,
like I do appreciate that they're like, oh, we're going to make you a player and not just a watcher. So I'm like, let's go.
Yeah, because like we'll talk about Lost, because obviously the main topic is just going to be Lost Records, because so much to talk about, and more so from Adam's perspective. Me and Adam have like briefly interacted about it on the podcast, but I thought we want to bring this piece of news in just for a separate segment, which was, I thought it was very interesting. They talked about Life is Strange 1 and 2. Like obviously Life is Strange 1's rewind mechanic is like, it's withstood the test of time as well. It's so well done and it still hits home as well. But like Life is Strange 2's critique did heavily come down to no powers being there, or no power agency in terms of the player controlling the powers. But I find it quite interesting that he critiqued it as well, thinking like, it did take away from something from the players. And I think like it's kind of like it's essentially like a lose-lose situation where it's like you can't really give Sean powers because it makes no sense. And then it's like you have to take the powers away. So it's like then it's an AI controlling it for like certain segments. Because I think like obviously maybe it would have been like if, for example, the AI was sophisticated enough that there would be moments where Daniel just uses his powers without you even knowing. Then it would be quite interesting. But I think because they're constrained with what they have, it does remove a little bit of agency. But I thought it was very interesting that he critiqued the games as well. And it's quite interesting that we've moved away from Life is Strange 2, because that was our last major game release as well from Michel and Luke as well. And it's like, that's 2018. We're now at 2023. Since then, in between them, there's been games that have been coming out, or games that came around Life is Strange 2. So like Detroit, you spoke about Harmony as well with the branching dialogue systems. There's a massive advancement in the way that they're going to evolve gameplay. And it feels like that as well, because like even alone, the trailer looks amazing. The quality of the graphics look amazing. So I thought it was quite interesting they critique Life is Strange like that, and what we got from that, and how it's going to essentially change Lost Records, Bloom Rage's kind of development and the way it looks. Because I think this game will be more of aligned with Life is Strange 1, if anything, than Life is Strange 2, in terms of like more parallels, more of a spiritual successor, etc. But I also hope that even even Life is Strange 2's thematic approach as well comes back in a later game in the Lost Records universe. I'd be very happy with that.
Yeah, we don't even know like how themes are going to play out. We have no idea how like real world events are going to be playing out in this game. We have no idea. So it's kind of cool that we don't know those things, but we get to know like what the gameplay is going to be like. We get to know like how the game will feel, and how we'll actually have what's the word that they used? Shoot. Agency. Like we'll actually have agency as a player. So I appreciate them for that.
Yeah, same. Should we move into our main topic then? I feel like we're like
yes.
Yeah. Okay, so main topic, obviously, the elephant in the room is out, which is that Don't Nod Montreal has finally revealed its new game, which came out at the Game Awards. I'm just going to read the article out so it just gives you perspective if you haven't been following it. I don't know if you've been living under a rock or something, but it'll just give you a bit of perspective before we talk about this. So this is from Eurogamer, which was Life is Strange creators returned with Lost Records. They put the original creative team behind Life is Strange have unveiled the long-awaited new project, Lost Records Bloom and Rage, due out late 2024 for PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X and S. Tonight's first teaser, shown at the Game Awards, featured 4 teens discovering something in the forest, and then one of them reflecting on these events more than 2 decades later. Lost Records Bloom and Rage is a new IP from Don't Nod, from the Don't Nod team that made the first 2 Life is Strange titles before the franchise was continued on elsewhere, and the team moved out of the Don't Nod's Parisian headquarters to set up shop in Montreal. We saw a first teaser for Lost Records earlier this year via artwork, which suggested a 1990s era setting. This appears now to be the past era in the game. In a press release, Don't Nod revealed that Bloom and Rage will be the first game in its fresh, quote-unquote, Lost Records universe, end quote, and is a, quote-unquote, brand new, story-driven journey through time, end quote. So, and on reflection as well, the game's story is, in Lost Records Bloom and Rage, the magical summer of 1995 is one of self-discovery and foregoing unbreakable bonds for high school friends Swan, Nora, Autumn, and Kat. 27 years of no contact, fate reunites them to confront the long-buried secrets that made them promise to never speak again. Dun, dun, dun. So that is Lost Records Bloom and Rage. So I've talked about this a lot. on the YouTube channel. There are a lot of videos there already. I am excited for this game. However, Adam has not spoken to me about this yet. So Adam, this has to go to you first. Talk to me about this.
This is not in Philly, and I'm very upset.
Well, there's no guarantee it's in Philly yet. It could still be in Philly.
I'm quite upset.
It could still be in Philly.
Could be. The only thing I could say is that, like, maybe they live in Philly and they're up in the Poconos in the woods. Maybe. I don't think it's in Philly, though. I'm quite upsetty spaghetti about that. So, Luke, if you're watching, I am quite the upsetty spaghetti right now. So, that aside, I think this is it. It's going to be intriguing. Like 4 characters. Like, remember when we said like there's going to be 2 playable characters?
Yeah.
Now there's the wild part is that there's 4 characters that you have to keep track of. So here's the other part is that, okay, if we're talking about the last article saying that like we're going to have full agency, all the dialogue system, and there's going to be 4 characters. I'm thinking more of like Until Dawn kind of feel where I think that all of these characters might be playable in some sorts, and we get sort of like a supermassive kind of feel to the game. If you play the supermassive anthology with those spooky little games with Until Dawn, and I also played the Quarry, which, you know, Quarry is it's good, but like, you know, that kind of feel where it's like you get to be playing all of these characters, and Luke and Michel are friends with a certain person that works at Supermassive now. You know, they're little buddies. But yeah, like they have connections to it. So like I have that sort of feel where they're kind of going towards that Stephen King, and I think they do reference Stephen King in this.
Oh yeah.
Yes. If you know anything by Stephen King, which you said in your video, you don't know too much about Stephen King. And I believe you said that, like, I wish Adam was here because he could be talking about Stephen King.
Yeah.
I haven't read too much Stephen King, but what defines Stephen King is that it's not more the horror that gets you, it's the uncomfortability. Like, he likes to make you a little unsettled, is what Stephen King is. In my opinion, what he's best known for is making you unsettled more than anything else. So I think that's where they're going with, is just kind of like this supermassive kind of title with a sense of unsettlement from Stephen King.
Yeah. So I agree with what you said. I think the Stephen King stuff's very interesting. I think that's the main influence. Like I said this with Life is Strange, where it has a big Stephen King influence as it is. You see a reference to Room 237 in the girls' dormitory with Max. There's a lot of inspiration from that. In the Theories episode we talked about a long time ago as well, we had actually spoken about chapter 2. I think it's called It Chapter 2. I keep calling it Part 2, but I think it's It Chapter 2. I've spoken about that a lot. It's scary how similar that it is with this as well. And in itself as well, there's a 27-year gap, which is a reference to It Chapter 2, I assume.
Yes.
So it has to be that. I even mentioned, even though we had the two characters, like, either side, where it was like, that there will be the main characters that would be like brothers and sisters. We actually, I mentioned Stand By Me in that episode, which was quite scary as well, because this, again, 4 characters on a journey in, for whatever else. That's all quite.
What if this game is based in Maine?
It
Bro.
might be.
What if it's based in Maine? That would be wild. That would be actually cool. But I'm still upset about Philly. Luke, you're not off the hook. Like, I know you're watching this. I get if it's based in Maine, that's cool. Stephen King reference. Cool. Great. Still upsetting spaghetti about the Philly thing. So there you go.
Philly might be one of the settings for one of the games. There's a big jump.
Don't try to defend Luke on this. Don't try to defend him. He's a big boy. He can defend himself.
So no, I agree with all you. Well, like the Fairies episode is frighteningly scary for what we said. Like based on like nothing, because even you said like the game would be set in like 93, I think you said it was, and the game is set in 95. And then you said there'd be a 30-year time jump. There's a 27-year time jump. So it's like to like hit what we did with like zero information is quite like remarkable. I think like that is just guesswork at that point of like figuring out what's happening. So I think it's quite. I think that episode has aged well compared to all the other stuff we say. If anything, like that episode will stood the test of time, if anything. But with this game, I don't know if all 4 characters are going to be playable, Adam. I think specifically, I think the orange-haired girl is going to be the playable character because of the trailer that I've actually done a trailer breakdown. I need to post at some point and edit and everything else.
I was about to say, did you post that? I didn't see it. But
no, it's like 40 minutes long, and it might even need to be
oh my god!
At this point. Like, I broke down a lot of scenes in there, and it needs editing to hell. And it's hard because you're like this character and that character. It's like they don't have associated names yet, so you have the names, but you can't associate a character with a character unless you do a bit of sleuthing like I did. maybe got them right by cheating, but. The character in the trailer, the
orange hair girl who's holding the video camera.
Yeah, and then there's 2 shots that are very similar in the trailer where it's a close up of that eye. So
what if her name's and I know you already guessed your guesses of who's who. Orange hair girl, Autumn, or is that too on the nose?
I think everyone keeps saying it's Autumn because like the kind of like the hair,
red hair. Would that be too on the nose? Yeah.
Well, it would be, but I think like with Andrea Carter like revealing who they're playing, like I think that's kind of like eliminated Autumn for me.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
And same with the other actors; they've all associated themselves. And if you start putting 2 and 2 together, you start guessing who's who, if anything, more or less on those lines. But I think that they're the main character, and also as well, I like how you refer to them as girls because I still don't think they're all girls.
Okay.
So my theory at the minute is I know that Michel has acknowledged the orange haired person with a she and her pronoun at one point. He said, like, I think it was an artwork, he said she's beautiful or something, blah blah, whichever one it was. I can't remember how he phrased it. I'm trying to like just pop my head. And then Juliet, who works at Don't Nod Montreal, one of the lead character artists, had acknowledged the one that sings into the microphone and said, I think Juliet said something along the lines that she's my favorite. I'm not looking at the tweets, but I know she acknowledged a fan art with that. So that's the only 2 acknowledgements I've seen from any person from Don't Nod Montreal using any pronouns or using any kind of association with it. Otherwise, it's been a continuous like string of like Luke and Michel saying, even in that little video that they did where it came out with the 2 of them talking, they keep mentioning them in a certain order. And even like all the other stuff, the articles that Luke's written as well for like Xbox and even this description as well, it's high schoolers, it's teens, it's never definitive who's who. And it's like in itself as well, Natalie LeConte, I think is non-binary as well, the actor, one of the actors who's on Don't Nod Montreal. I just don't think that these are 4 girls. I think that one of them is not a non-binary character. I don't think it's a trans character. I think you might see trans characters in the game, potentially. But I think this game will be like the first game which has a lead non-binary character, like a a lead character, because I can't really name any off the top of my head, unless like outside the customization and creation ones that people can do, where you can like make your own character. I don't really know.
Is, but I can't outside of. Yeah, I mean, like I do hope that's the case. It's just my only concern is that like because Tell Me Why had a transgender, they only were publishing on Xbox because Xbox funded the money they were going to lose in China. Yeah. And this is multi-plats under Don't Nod, who is, I believe, Tencent has a stake in Don't Nod.
Yeah, has a 20+% stake in Don't Nod,
and that's the unfortunate side. Like, I hope you're right. I really, really do. I do hope you're right that we do get a non-binary character. It's just more of like, will Tencent allow that? It's just kind of like,
well, they're just stakeholders, if anything, Tencent, so they have no say of it. They just have a portion of the company that they own, so it's like they can't really say anything about it. It's like for them, it's more about the money books that are appearing of like, you know, what's on Don't Nod's record and how well things are done. So they don't have like, if there's a publishing arm on it of the game and like Tencent was the publisher, for example, then I'd think no, probably not. Well, because this is self-published by Don't Nod, I think that Don't Nod's going to introduce us to the first non-binary main lead character in a video game. I think this is the where they'll basically. I think that this is why they're being so cryptic with the characters and not revealing who's who.
There was a trans character in Harmony, Harmony Fall of Reverie. Yes, there was actually.
Interesting.
Yeah, I can't remember the character's name, but I can just picture their character art. But yes, there is a transgender character in Harmony, which is self-published. I didn't even connect those dots.
Oh, like, it's just interesting.
I guess you could say I'm just so progressive that I doesn't really. No, I just didn't really think about it. It's just like, oh
yeah, that's interesting.
And they it's not even like lore. Like they do say it, I believe, in the game. So there's already a transgender character in a Don't Nod published game. So why didn't I connect that dot? I'm so stupid.
You didn't.
Yeah, so that is possible that we do have a non-binary character in this game.
Because I think that Don't Nod will have the reputation for like the first lead transgender character in Tell Me Why, and they're going to do the break the mold, break the kind of like status quo again by introducing the first non-binary like main like supporting main character in a video game. I think that there's the way that they're positioning this. I think that not all of them are, because even in itself as well, there's a jump. Remember, there's a 27-year jump. So one of these characters might be a girl, you know, at that point in the life earlier on, and they might become non-binary. And remember as well, think about the trailer as well. They show us one character out of the 4. Why have they shown one character? Like are all 4 characters there? I said this with It Part 2 as well. Oh wait, 1 second.
Yes.
Sorry, you would have heard like really loud meowing if I wouldn't have said that. Then my cat is like now trying to get my attention. In the trailer, there's 4. In the trailer we see one older version of the characters, and none of the others. And I said this with It Chapter 2. Spoiler if you haven't seen it. When the losers reunite, not all the losers come back. Remember at the beginning of the film, like one of them commits suicide because they don't want to. You know, they're scared of Pennywise. Who's to say that all characters are there at that point? Maybe one gets kidnapped. Maybe one falls into the hole. Maybe something happens that reunites the other characters first, and then you start coming back with all the others. Like, there's no kind of like clear-cut direction, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
So I think like it's all quite telling. If you're wondering, Adam, I've watched the trailer about 50 times. Like I like, micro-analyzed it and like spent more time thinking about this trailer than about my health at this point. Like that's how much time I've been spending with it. But I found it quite interesting that because it's such a time jump on my main point. There's such a time jump that you can basically have a character who is a girl when they're younger, but they might become non-binary when they're older.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's all up in the air. Yeah, it's just kind of like there's so much you can like take away from this. But yeah, like I do hope that's the case. And now that I say that, like now I say about Harmony, it's definitely possible. It's for sure possible.
So one more thing as well to talk to you about this as well, among many other things. Some of the things that people brought up was obviously Yellow Jackets, which I haven't seen. But as
I haven't seen either, and I have seen discussions on it. And not just that, but like I've heard Yellow Jackets is really good, and I haven't got. and everybody's like, it's like, oh, it's just like Yellow Jackets. And I'm like, I wish that was the one series I actually watched, but I've watched so many.
So obviously, like Michel's now confirmed that Bloom and Rage's concept predates that show's release. Not that it might not be inspired by it, but it predates it. So that kind of gives us a little bit of an idea of something. Paper
it's
Girls.
a Showtime show. Got it. That's why.
Show.
Oh, Sky Showtime. What is it on? Yellow Jackets.
I don't actually know. I thought it was like a Netflix at first, but it's not.
I'm looking it up now because what's it on? I don't know.
I think it has 2 seasons so far. Yellow Jackets.
Oh, it looks like it is. I believe. Okay. Sorry, I'm just trying to confirm here for everybody. I believe it is a Showtime show. Network Showtime. Yeah, so you can watch it through Paramount Plus with a premium subscription to Showtime. Kind of like The Curse, where I keep getting commercials for The Curse, and I want to watch The Curse, but I have to pay for Showtime. It's malarkey, first of all, because I want to watch Emma Stone. But I'm not paying for Showtime. Stop that. Okay, so continue. That's why I haven't seen it, because it's on Showtime.
So I want to watch it because I read the synopsis and I was like, okay, I get why people have literally drawn this comparison straight away. Paper Girls is another one people have mentioned to me.
I haven't even heard of that one.
Yeah, it's on. I think it's on Amazon, I believe. Some people have mentioned it to me, and other people have mentioned it straight away. I think that's some of the vibes that people have got.
Oh, okay. No, I have heard of this. I'm so stupid. Yeah, this was I believe it was a graphic novel before it was a series.
Oh, really?
Don't quote me on that. I'm trying to Paper Girls cast a character. Maybe I'm stupid. Maybe it's not. Maybe I'm just an idiot. I could be an idiot. That's very possible. September 2022, the series was canceled after 1 season. Paper Girls. Wow, that's crazy. Any hoozles you were saying?
Yeah. So Paper Girls is the other one, and then obviously the main vibes I've got is like Stand By Me, It, and then Stranger Things. So like they're the kind of like
Stranger Things, obviously, yeah.
Immediate ones that like all kind of vibe off of that. So I'm quite interested to see all the fusion of like different things.
So
another thing. Oh, go on.
Oh, no. I was just gonna say that like I appreciate Michel. Now you did say in your video Michel Koch. Is it Koch or Co?
Yeah, it's Koch. Yeah,
it's Koch. I've been an idiot this whole time. Cool.
Well, well, I always call him Michel Koch because you called him that as well. I don't know. I know
it was Koch.
No. I've always known it's been. I always know it's been Koch, but I've always used Koch because I thought it was just a StrangeCast thing. So I was like, I'll just mirror you for it. But I assume that you basically reduced Michel Koch down to Michel Koch and been like, he's Michel Koch. So it's like we've kind of christened him as Michel Koch. Like, well, you didn't realize.
I didn't realize. No,
this is like Marsha / Macha all over again, isn't it? It's like,
why has nobody corrected me on that? Why didn't Luke step up and be like, listen, Adam, not only are you an idiot, but you're an extra idiot.
I think Luke's last name is Bagodust. I think that's how it's pronounced. Bagodust.
Yeah. Anyways,
yeah.
So I appreciate Michel Koch that he says that in development, like it was developed before Yellow Jackets even came out. So it's funny how like even in animation films take years and years, and they put in real life references, like pop culture references that were happening during the time of making it, so that when it comes out, that meme is now dead. But like at the time of like making the animation, it was alive. It was well and sprying. But it's funny how that turned out. It's like, oh, this is just like Yellow Jackets. I'm like, do you understand how long it takes to develop a game? It's just like it doesn't work like that. I don't know.
Well, if you remember as well, Cory Barlog from God of War 2018 had that same issue because they released that, and then God of War 2018, the reboot of the series, the first game is shot like one shots. And it's basically came out 3 years after Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain came out, and Kojima had basically done the entire Phantom Pain in like one shots.
Yes.
And then he came out. He's like, no, that's just an unfortunate circus. Like we like Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain did not affect God of War's development. And the fact that we started using one shots is just pure coincidence. So yeah, in that case as well, like Michel, it's quite interesting that it's a pure coincidence that this game is like vibing off of Yellow Jackets. But in itself, like Yellow Jackets might take inspiration from Stand By Me. It might take inspiration from it Chapter 2. So it's basically everything is like getting so culturally influenced by other things that things start to like overlap. Because Life is Strange will be an influence to this game. Even though they made it, it will be an influence. It's going to be a direct influence in the game. Even if it is creators who've made the original game, it's still going to be like a precursor for this. So it's all quite interesting, and I'm very excited for like all the different things we can talk about. And like there's so many like little things that I've like picked apart and like discussed and everything else in between it. But I wanted to ask you as well, what was your reaction when you watched the trailer? Because I was up till 4:00 in the morning watching this on UK time, watching the Game Awards, and I actually got to watch it compared to the Don't Nod Montreal team, whose stream crashed about quite a few times. Do you see the video?
I saw the video of them reacting, and then clapping. I didn't know that it crashed on them.
Oh yeah. Watch the video when you get the chance. The stream crashes before it. And like Marin is like walking around continuously and like caption saying this guy is like getting aggravated, like he's worried and stuff. And I thought Marin held himself quite well. Luke is like on the floor at one point, like trying to turn things back on. And Michel looked very cool and composed. I think he was probably just at that point being like, the trailer is going to get shown either way.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, like I was up till 4:00 in the morning watching this because it was like UK time, and I was like, oh my god, this is like late. And when I watched it, the vibes were real. I wanted to know what your reaction was like to the trailer, because this was for the first time I felt very excited for a long time for games, and usually most people who watch this show, watch this channel, watch a lot of things. I don't really show a lot of emotions, do I, Adam? So I'm excited. The hype is real.
No, first of all, the Game Awards. What a garbage show this was this year. Just
good old Jeff Keighley.
Yeah, honestly, you're gonna give Anthony Mackie that much more time than the Game of the Year director. You're gonna call Timothy Chalamet by his YouTube name. How dare you? Okay.
Just before you carry on as well, is it Neil Newborn who won for the acting award?
Yes,
for Baldur's Gate 3.
For Baldur's Gate 3, thank God.
And wasn't he talking about like the victims of like sexual assault? Because didn't Baldur's Gate got a reference towards that, or his characters or something?
Yes, and they just kind of like said like wrap it up.
And they put like that message up saying like wrap it up. I'm like,
yep. It was such a shame, dude. I hated it. Also
as well, I don't get the fact that they string off awards like 4 or 5 in the same row. It's like they read off screen. Yeah. And the greatest game of all time is Metal Gear Solid, and the next award is for like the greatest sequel of all time, and and the next award. It's like, what is that for a format?
As somebody who has a dream to become a video game composer, and that was one of the ones that just said like, and the best video game music goes to this. Okay, moving on. I'm just like, okay, cool. A lot of people are saying like, go watch the DICE Awards if you want a good game.
Yeah.
One like a good Game Awards, or watch the BAFTAs, the ones that actually matter. Game Awards is just a commercial. It's just a commercial.
Yeah.
So that's my first point. Is that like, wow, what a shame this year. What a shame.
But before you move on from the Game Awards as well, all I'll say is that Game Awards needs to define if it wants to be E3 or if it wants to be the BAFTAs. It needs to be one or the other. You can't basically be both because you don't have enough time for it. And itself as
apparently
well.
Apparently, they have all the time in the world because it was like 4 hours long.
It's so long. It's like this isn't a just basic. Like if he wants to as well, if he was smart, he would spin it off into two things where he'd have his own award show and he'd have his own E3-esque presentation.
Which he does. It's a Summer Game Fest. He has that.
That's what. Yeah, but it's so baffling though, because like it would have made more sense to basically have like Luke Michel walk up on stage and talk to them briefly and then reveal the trailer. It's like instead, like that game was like sandwiched between 6 trailers. All the words were like scuffled in against each other. Then there was like people who were there, like you kind of wondering like who is this person there? Like why are they talking this kind of way? And it's like obviously like there's a big backlash with Kojima talking for like 10 minutes. And fair enough, I get it with some ways about it, but also he is Japanese as well, so they were translating parts of it. But it's like weigh up what you're actually going to do for segments, because like there was so much more time you could have allocated properly in that.
By the way, I think on the Wolf Den podcast, they were pointing out how Jeff Keighley's like, and my best friend Kojima. And Kojima's like, sure, yeah, we're friends, of course. But And then Kojima's like, well, here's my real best friend, and he comes out.
Yeah, Jordan
Peele.
Jordan Peele is Kojima's best friend. Jeff Keighley is not his best friend.
Jeff Keighley's like, me and Kojima are friends. We're best friends. Kojima's like, so me and Jordan are going to hang out. You're not invited. It's just like
that's the real collab. That's the real collab. JP and HK.
Dude, yeah, like that was so. Every year he just does that. Like, me and Kojima are buddies, and Kojima's like, I don't know what this man's talking about.
It's such a weird shocks. It's like even like Banishers was sandwiched in between everything.
Yeah,
so Don't Nod was there twice. So it was like Banishers is there, and it's like another trailer and another trailer and another trailer, and it's like, oh, here's Lost Records and another trailer. It's like there's no conversation, there's no like reaction,
and they were all like the same kind of like dark shooter.
Yeah,
I'm like, okay, dude, like we get it. It's so.
By the way, you mentioned that as well. Let's just talk about that. This colourful trailer from Lost Records of the 90s shows the stark contrast difference from what you just mentioned there. If you are watching this podcast, if you are listening, think about a McDonald's in the 1990s or even the early 2000s, how colourful that place used to be. Think about even a Pizza Hut or a KFC or Toys R Us if you're still old enough. Think about the Walkman, the Talk Boy. Think about all these little nifty gadgets. Everything feels like my room right now, like the grey surface that you basically have. You walk into a place, it looks so corporate. It's like that was the only trailer that stood out.
There's only two games that stood out to me: Lost Records, which I'm biased, and Big Walk. Like Big Walk was like a big standout for me because like everything else was just so gray and dark and just the world is ending, blah blah blah. I'm like, we get it. Give me Big Walk. Like I get it. Give me Big Walk right now, please and thank you. But yeah, no, like that's just it. It's like it just felt so drab. And then like Lost Records appears, and I was like, thank God, dude. Like something that's like interesting, you know? Because again, like it was bright, colorful. It had a moment of just like what's going on, and it had that feeling of intrigue. Whereas like all the rest, like the one that Matthew McConaughey is a part of, I'm just like, oh my God, this is just so unoriginal. We've seen this game over and over. Like, come on. It's not to say we haven't seen Lost Records premise. You know, it's not like we haven't seen that. It's the fact that like there's a twist to it, I think. You know, the fact that it's based in 1995, like, let's go. Come on. 90s. But, you know, at the same time, it's just like, it actually looks interesting, and first and foremost, you know, Big Walk too. Big Walk looks very interesting, very multiplayer-esque, but you know, it is what it is. Also, big surprise here that Tears of the Kingdom only walked away with one award. That's it. That is the wild part. Just best action adventure, and that's it. And it's just like, dang, dude. But yeah, no, that's all I have to say on the Game Awards. But
painful.
Yeah, it was so painful watching. So boring, dude. Oh my God, it was like one of the worst I've seen in years, dude.
Yeah, I was in two minds of literally turning off and going to bed. If Don't Nod Montreal, if they had not announced that they were there or even teased it, I'd be like, nah, I'm out of here. I'm out of here about 3 hours ago.
If they didn't tweet out saying like, oh, take a look, I would have just like not even bothered. I was like, no, I'm not watching the Game Awards. But like the fact that they said that, I'm like, oh, I'll be watching it now. No, just like make Game Awards actually awards. Also, weird thing, it is now 7:56 in the morning. Why am I craving rice right now? I don't know why. I really want rice. I want rice. Anyways, I don't know what it is. Am I breaking right now? I just want rice. I'm gonna make rice later at 8 in the morning. By the way, I'm learning Japanese right now.
Oh, very nice. You going to Japan, aren't you?
Yes, I'm actually interested in one, gohan is Japanese for rice, but all the meals, right? It will say asa gohan, which is morning meal, or like my gohan is night meal. So gohan is rice and meal. So you pretty much say breakfast rice, dinner rice, and all these different things of rice. I'm like, dude, I want to go to Japan and just eat rice. That's all I want to do in my life.
you're gonna take a picture of Kojima out there, and I'm gonna be like Jeff Keighley,
Me
angry,
and Kojima.
like staring.
This is my best friend right here.
And I'm gonna be like angry. I'm gonna be like Jeff Keighley, look at my computer, be like,
I could be better friends with Kojima than Jeff Keighley again, but any hoozles about this this here Lost Records thing.
This Lost Records thing.
No, I finally again that was my reaction when I saw this for the first time. That it was just a boring, drab show, and it's like this interested me. I was hyped. I was actually like, let's go. I wanted to hear more about it, and I was very pleased that like it gave us the premise without giving too much away. Like it said, like here's the theme of this game, and I appreciated that with this trailer. Now, I don't know if Don't Nod did this, or if Don't Nod Montreal did this, but I know that a lot of game companies will hire third-party trailer companies, and they will actually make the trailer for you. So I don't know if they did that intentionally. So if Don't Nod Montreal did this, which somebody wants to confirm that or not, I'm looking at you, Marin. But like if somebody at Don't Nod Montreal wants to confirm to me if that was made in-house or if it was for a third-party trailer maker, I'll be very impressed if it was made in-house because they gave just enough information without giving away too much information. And I thought it was like a beautiful like line to not cross. And I don't know, I just really like the trailer, like watching it.
I fully agree with you. I think they that trailer gave me again like very much Life is Strange 1 vibes. Like it was a nice, sweetly done trailer, quick
and I remember
trailer.
When that trailer dropped. Yeah, it was wild.
Yeah, release window or release date is given. Like a release window is given, so we know that it's not far away. It's cryptic enough. It's well put together. It has original music from Nora Kelly Band. It seems like the Nora Kelly Band is the composer on the game, which will be something for you to look into as well because we'll have to get the musical take on Nora Kelly. But yeah, it was all quite nicely put together. The story wasn't given away, and it seems like they're very cryptic about things as well, all the way through the story. I don't think we're going to get like a load of story information until like release. I think that we'll get like trinkets, a lot of information, but I think they're intentionally doing this because I think this is because of the mystique of the game. I think you have to kind of keep it as is. Like if you give anything else away, it's going to be too much. Like as I said, like I've basically watched that trailer about 50 times and dissected frame from frame. So I don't think they want you to kind of know as much as you can try and pull apart. It's like, oh, there's a hole there at the end of the trailer. It's like you need to figure out what's in the hole. It's like we're not going to tell you obviously what's in the hole, if anything. So yeah, that's it was.
If I'm looking at the if I'm looking at the right Nora Kelly on Spotify, wow, like what a wild design. Like yeah, have you seen Nora Kelly Band on Spotify?
I've not seen them on Spotify. I've seen them on Instagram and also seen them on Apple Music as well.
Yeah, I'm looking up on Instagram right now, but like wow, they have wild styles. Like the clown face and all that. Am I looking at the right one?
Yeah, that's is it like the artwork?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. I that's a refreshing take just because like all these bands try to be corporate and like look at us record companies, but I appreciate the bands that actually just say, you know what? We are going to do our vibe and screw you if you don't like it. Like I am very into this. So good on you.
Because Nora Kelly put this on Instagram. They said it's they put I made a custom Riot Girl song for the video game Lost Records Bloom and Rage.
Nice.
So I didn't realize custom Riot Girl is like kind of a genre in itself as well, which was when I started looking up. That's why I was like, we got the man in the hour back here to talk about.
Now see, Nora Kelly Band toured in Philly. So why couldn't
Luke was in Philly?
Luke was in Philly. Nora Kelly Band was in Philly. Why couldn't this game be based in Philly?
I think the game is in Philly. I think part of the game's in Philly. They'll jump times, won't they?
You're just pleasing me, and it's not helping.
Adam,
I'm trying to see where. Oh, the Philamaca. Okay, they played the Philamaca, which is okay.
Adam.
Oh, they played the Lavender Room. Oh, that's nice. Anyways,
Adam.
Yes.
What's in the hole?
Is this Uendo joke?
No, in the hole of the trailer.
Double I don't know how to answer this. The Upside Down is in the hole.
Yeah, that could.
Yeah, they're going to do a Netflix kind of collaboration where the Upside Down is in there and Demogorgons are going to be in the hole.
I think it's the pit where they put all the copies of Atari in there. The Atari ET copies that are in there. I think that's in the pit.
I don't know. It's got to be like otherworldly. It can't be. It can't be like. So here's the thing: is it the here? Okay, here's a better question to like kind of narrow it down. Is it a what's in the hole, like in terms of like a who, like a creature, or is it like why is the hole? Is it like another galaxy? Is it another dimension? You know?
Yeah.
I think it's more of like I think it'll be another dimension. It could be a time vortex in the hole. You know what I mean? It could be like I don't think they will go that out there though, because that's very like wild. And I have to think about you also have to think about this because Macha Lopez, like the way like her narrative design goes, it is out there, but it's very much relatable. Like you have to think in the way of just like, okay, so Macha Lopez was the lead designer. You have to think about her style and lead design. So when I say that it's out there, but it's also hits home, I don't think it's a time vortex. I think it is a representation of facing your fears. So I think it is like creatures, like some kind of like otherworldly creatures that have been hiding in the depths of the core, if anything, rather than a time vortex, if that makes sense.
So that's quite interesting you mention that, because if you think about the trailer as well, all the events in the trailer seem to happen in one day, because it's like they're all wearing the same clothes. And even when the characters are standing above the hole, do you see that only one character looks at the others and then looks back? So all three of the characters, so all three of the characters, the three characters on the from right to left, are all standing there looking into the vortex, into this hole. And the character who sings into the mic, who we think is Nora, the one with the short hair, looks at the other characters ever so briefly and then looks back at the hole.
Look at that. Yeah, I'm seeing it now.
That's like a little subtle detail you notice with the character that looks away at the others and looks back into the hole. So it's the only one that breaks away from the moment. And in itself as well, think about when they're running through the forest as well. It's like, are they running away from the forest cabin fire that happened, or are they running from a creature potentially? Because remember back to that original image that we had that they teased us during the one in the room with the console, the furniture when we talk about it could be in Philly. Remember what's in the console and the cartridge? Do you remember what's on the cartridge? That black,
I don't.
creepy monster. It's like eyes, and it's like blackness surrounding it.
Yes.
So maybe that is like the creature that's in the hole, or one of the creatures in the hole, or something. You look it up, you'll know what I mean. As soon as you see it, it's in the console. It's a cartridge. It's like black shadows around it. It's got eyes on it as well, and it looks like a little creature of sorts.
I'm trying to find the actual.
Let me see if I can find this.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the actual teaser image. Like I looked up the Lost Records teaser image. Like I just Googled that. Don't Nod Montreal. How do I find this teaser?
There it is.
Yeah, can you send it to me on our official StrangeCast Messenger app, which
That's
is
the one,
another
yes.
app.
I don't know if the quality's pulled through properly.
Oh, you sent me like a little tiny one.
It's come through terrible quality. What's happened there?
Oh, but I do see. I do see that the cartridge is like the image is like eyes.
There we go. I'm coming through now.
Thank you.
Proper.
Okay, there we go. With the now and laters. Yum yum yum.
Can you see what's...
Yeah, it is a creature, but it looks like a little kitty cat. But
it does.
Yeah, no, like, and that's the thing. I think they might be creatures that is a metaphor for something else. Because tell me why it had some supernatural esque to it, but it had depth, it had meaning, it had purpose.
Yeah.
And, whereas like a time vortex is more of just like you're out there sci-fi thriller.
Yeah.
And that can be interesting in terms of just like an interesting story, but that's not what Luke, Michel, and Masha's design is. It's all about intentionality. It's all about putting in images. They're very much believe. Here's my thing about Luke and Michel especially is that they are very much believers in Chekhov's gun, where like if you're gonna show something, you better use it. Like that's my take on like their writing styles. Like they don't show you something unless it has intentionality and if they plan to use it in other places, you know.
Yeah, that's interesting. That I agree with you as well. I don't think they go sci-fi. I don't think they've really dabbled in anything like sci-fi mainly. It's like they've always had like those weird moments like Life is Strange 1 weird, but like strange when they go into like a strange universe with like episode 5 Polarized where Max is like going through a dream sequence. It's a bit creepy. That's like the most borderline like extraterrestrial sci-fi-ish kind of thing they've done so far. But as you said, like with the developers who they've had there and have still worked there, it seems like it's going to be more grounded. It'll just have like a bit of mystique with it, with like that, for example, be like creatures that came from a hole that have no necessary explanation, but you don't need to know the explanation. Same with getting rewind powers; you don't get an explanation for that necessarily speaking. So, I agree with you on that. It's quite interesting to see what's in the hole, though. I think there's dots that we can connect. I like the idea that you think that there's creatures in there, and I think like with my sequence when they're running through the forest in the trailer, I think they're being chased by said creature. Because like think about it as well. Here's one more thing as well. It chapter 2, the losers come back together, right? They reunite after 27 years. There has to be something big that brings you back together. Now think about like Life is Strange 1, the time jump of 5 years between Max and Chloe. Max doesn't go back to Arcadia, Oregon to see Chloe. She just goes back because her life moves back there. Chloe is just like that entire event of string of events that happens because of what happens. But more so with the losers, for example, when they reunite, they come back because they made an oath to stop Pennywise. So for you to come back after 27 years, like with these characters in this game, something has to be big enough for you to stop it. So obviously it has to be some kind of like evil creature or something like that. Do you get what I mean? It has to be in the same spirit as like Pennywise or it, like to be like, oh, actually, we're going to come back together. Because otherwise, if you ran me after 27 years, I'd be like, Adam, I might be like working, you know. You might, if I ring you, you're like, well, dude, I'm currently in we haven't spoken for like 27 years, and I'm currently like, making some like food here, like, or like I'm making music, or I'm doing something like, it's just.
Oh yeah, no, like it's definitely going to be something. I don't think I really hope they don't follow its like storyline. I hope we do get something much more, Luke and Michelle-esque,
Yeah.
I don't know. It has to be something that like brings them back. Maybe they found something on the tape that can explain a lot, or the whole town's getting slaughtered by this. But that's the other thing. Then you have to put like combat in this game, like what are they doing to stop these creatures, and Luke and Michelle aren't really known for combat mechanics. That's not like the Banishers team, I don't know. It's gonna be wild to see what they do with this.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be like as you said with like it chapter 2, because like you're not gonna be fighting Pennywise or like doing something. It'll be like in the extraordinary, where it maybe like has involved powers or someone like there'll be some kind of dots that get connected. But it seems like that there has to be something that brings people back together. I don't think you reunite after 27 years just like be like, oh, let's catch up because we were friends at high school.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like people disconnect after like a year and they don't speak to someone for the rest of their life. It's like it has to be that kind of same ethos of like it chapter 2, where something happens that kind of like it's massive. It can't just be like, oh, we buried something 4 years ago, we need to go and check it up. Like it was important. It has to be like an extraterrestrial being in some sense, like, or like a creepy creature or something that brings people back together. As you said, would Tell Me Why, the vibe is there with that, where it's like there was a creature that kind of like reunited them, and we follow that entire journey. It had a big theme of the entire game. But yeah, all very, very interesting. I wonder how the game is structured as well. I wonder if it's fragmented so you can.
I was even gonna say, last question for you: episodic or not?
So there you go. There's the power in the game. Psychic, and I read your mind. Episodic. No.
You don't think episodic?
No. Fully fledged release. They're past that now. I don't think they can. Like look at like the hell that Life is Strange 2 went through with releases. Like
Yeah.
Life is Strange 1 was like more consistent. They like I think Michel said in like in a 2015 interview of like E3 was like we meet 8-week release windows, and I think Life is Strange 1 really hit all of them barring episode 5 Polarized. But Life is Strange 2 was like really scattergun in terms of the releases. They were so far apart, some of these episodes. I think it started in, was it 2017? It started in 2018. I think it started in 2018.
Yeah.
One of the episodes came out.
2018.
Yeah, so one of the episodes came out. Yeah, it started in 2018 with
let me look it
double
up
check
real
that.
quick. Yeah, there's Life is Strange. Episode 2. Life is Strange 2 episode releases release dates. Hooray! Go Adam. Okay, so for those of you who are listening, to me, Adam, first episode September 2018. Second episode, second episode was January 2019. So episode 1 was the only one to come out 2018, and that was in September. And then the next episode came out January 24th of 2019, and then May, and then August, and then December. There was no way. Did we stick with this throughout a year? Yep. Was it a year release? No way.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's you look back at it.
Did we do that?
Yeah.
I don't remember it being that long.
Yep.
Holy! I mean, now I think about it, it does make sense. Like that does.
That's why I don't think it's episodic.
Wow.
Or traditionally episodic, if anything.
Why were we not pissed more about that? Like, we were pissed.
I don't.
Not like pissed, but we're just like, holy cow! Like that long.
That was at like during like the later years of the episodic run, where it was like even Tales from the Borderlands had like long release windows between them. Like they basically went from being more like constrained with release dates, to, like really like spread out, if anything.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just like I'm looking through those episodes. I'm just like, there's no way we dealt with that, did we? And we did. We totally did. Wow. Yeah, not episodic. Not episodic. No. It's gonna be full-fledged release.
I think it might come out as a fully fledged game and then do what True Colors did, where it's split into chapters.
Okay, so better question. For the final question. We're gonna say this now. Because did they say a date or they just said the year 2024?
Just late 2024.
Late 2024. Okay. Game length in terms of ballpark. Because I'm thinking I'm gonna narrow it to 3 hours. Like my window is 3 hours. I'm gonna say 9 to 12 hours is this game.
9 to 12 hours for the full game, like just full story.
Full game, 9 to 12 hours.
I've got 8 to 10.
8 to 10.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like we're thinking like probably in the range of like 9 to 10 hours is our range. Yeah.
I don't know if they'll have like a universe where you explore things. I think it might just be like linear in the sense where it's like just like, do you know, like the first Life is Strange, like the second Life is Strange, where it's just very straight to the point of the story, which obviously I'd like as well. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but like straight to the story, one way through. Yes. Maybe a bit more time if you replay it. Maybe there'll be like choice and consequences, etc. I think maybe that'll play a part.
Yeah. So tell me why it was 9.5 hours long.
Really?
So 9.5. Yeah, I remember it being longer because each episode was 3 hours. I remember that, and I was just like, dude, how long is this episode? I haven't played it since it's released, but I remember thinking like, holy cow, this is a long episode. But
it didn't feel that long. Unless it was because it was released 2 weeks.
Here's the wild part. Okay, so tell me why is 9 to 10 hours, right? That's tell me why.
Right.
Now, Twin Mirror, guess how long that is?
I'm gonna say that's like 6 hours or 7 hours.
Yeah, it's 6 hours. Yeah.
Wow.
And that was a full release.
That was yeah.
And then Life is Strange 2. I just want to look that up just for little giggles.
Life is Strange 2 must have been about 8 to 10 hours,
I would say so.
Easy.
Yeah. Life is Strange 2.
if not more.
No. Yeah.
No, really.
16 hours.
Damn.
16 hours? Really?
Yeah, but you have to imagine as well, if each episode's like 2 hours or 3 hours.
They're saying on here each episode's 3 hours. Get out of here.
It's not 3 hours. No,
it's not 3 hours. Are you playing slow?
I think a good estimation is like 10 hours to 12 hours for Life is Strange 2.
Yeah, I don't know how long to beat website. It says 16 hours, each episode being 3 hours. It's not.
Are they including the download time as well?
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
So no, it's. I guess. I mean, everybody's reporting on it. So, and then they're saying that like main plus sides, each episode is about like 3 to 4 hours. I'm like, get out of here! You're not spending 4 hours in an episode. Stop it. Stop it. So yeah, I'm gonna say that this game is in that ballpark between 8 to 11 hours. Somewhere in that ballpark.
Yeah, I think we're both probably in agreement that it's around that time. I don't think it's going to be anywhere near 16 hours or 15 hours as Life is Strange 2 is being proclaimed to be. It's not going to be anywhere.
Out of here.
Yeah, it's going to be a single player game. Like, it's going to be like, I think maybe there'll be like, choice and consequences, replay value, etc. But I don't think there's going to be much more to it than that. I don't think like it's just going to be, you get into the story, you play through it, etc. So I mean, that's a good guess with that. And I don't think it's going to be episodic. I would be surprised if they did it episodic. I know Tell Me Why was released in a very short frame as episodes, but I just feel like this game has to come out at release on day one with like
Wolf Among Us has to be super successful for people who want to go back to episodic.
That's if we ever see it as well, seeing as Telltale's in a little bit of like a current mess again of a state.
Yeah, already.
So
like, dude, they just came back and they're already in trouble. Like,
the industry took a battering in 2023 with like layoffs and hirings and stuff like that. So, yeah.
By the way, the game award for best community service, and like 3 of them like fired all of their
community managers.
It's just like, and Jeff didn't blink an eye to it. He's just like saying like the best community support, and he just did not blink an eye. That like,
no, because he doesn't have care. He doesn't care. As you said very early on, it's commercial. That's what the Game Awards is. He doesn't care. Like, there's no value to it. That's why I even saw it with like developers who were angry with it and saying like, oh, this needed more time or whatever else. It's like, yeah, I get what you're saying and I agree with you, but at the same time, again, it's Jeff Keighley and it's the Game Awards. I'm like, this isn't, this is essentially the Oscar equivalent. I'm not giving it the same praise or status, but it's like the same obnoxious level of what it is. It's just a very obnoxious event. It's not going to give you credit for it. If you want to see like proper recognition, you watch the BAFTAs. The BAFTA Game Awards is probably the closest recognition you get, or the DICE Awards, as you said as well. I mean, that's where it's like more, grounded in terms of actually giving developers more time. But yeah, should we wrap up here? With Lost Records? Yeah. Okay, so obviously, I hope you enjoyed that. It was a long time coming. 3 years after like talking about it non-stop from every little bit of teaser, from every little detail we got. Lost Records has been covered, and stay tuned. Obviously, we'll be talking about Lost Records all the way up to release, so don't worry about that. It'll have very much a home and StrangeCast, and very excited about it. But yeah, leave us your thoughts in the comments. Actually, on live as well, Adam, as well. I was thinking here on potentially we could introduce a new topic for 2024 or a new segment, which would be a comment of the episode or comment of an episode here, which we'll introduce in the next episode. So if anyone
like
from YouTube,
like a user feedback or
so if anyone on our YouTube channel like leaves a comment on this episode, we will happily read your comment out in the next episode. So you can say basically like Adam's got great music, or you can say Adam's got terrible taste in music, or you can say Adam, why do you play on Xbox? Anything that's reasonable, as long as it's a reasonable. Yeah, anything that's a reason. Obviously, if you say like I'm really bad or like I've got bad hair and stuff, I'll be upset because my hair.
Or if you say that Adnan talks too fast, I will throat punch you. Like I don't see what you're saying. Now I will say this: I just finished Gilmore Girls, and I told Liz, who's my wife, I told Liz that like I don't. Everybody says like, "Oh, Gilmore Girls talks too fast." I didn't hear Gilmore Girls talking too fast. I don't hear you talking too fast. Maybe I'm stupid. I don't know.
No. We know why you don't hear it, and that's why I don't hear it as well. It's part of our genes. It's built in. I usually fast forward things like videos. I'm like, get to the point, like speak faster.
Yeah, I listen to podcasts at 1.2 speed. I'm just Yeah.
I've watched YouTubers before, and I know one YouTube I watch like just like investments and stuff. This guy talks really fast, and every single person in the comments always like speak slow. And I'm like, no, he's speaking at the perfect pace. This video is 9 minutes. I don't want it to be 18 minutes. I'm hearing everything he's saying. So
listen, I grew up on Busta Rhymes, so I don't hear it. It's just like
I'm all about like Eminem rapping fast and all this. I can hear it fast, so that's why I like just like fire off things as fast as possible.
Yeah.
But no, I thought like in the next episode we will be introducing a segment here, which will be a nice little comment section where you can anyone who leaves us a comment on this episode on YouTube will happily put your input into the episode. We want to kind of make it a bit more homey for people. So if you actively listen and you have your own thoughts about Lost Records, let us know in the comments, and we'll read out in the next episode as a segment before our other lovely segment. No longer spread the spooky arts, but just spread the arts. So spread the arts is back. Adam, do you want to go first?
Sure. Yeah. There's not too much I consumed. I will say this, that every Christmas I try to play through Assassin's Creed 2, and I did. I played through Assassin's Creed 2 again. And I gotta say, man, I'm still saying it. Assassin's Creed 2, it holds up, man. It holds up.
What happened to Ubisoft? What happened to Ubisoft?
I'm still on a Ubisoft no buy. Like kind of yeah. Until Yves Guillemot steps down as CEO, I'm not buying any Ubisoft games. Now, if there is a Ubisoft game I do want, I wait till it's used, and then I go to my local game store and I support a local business by giving them my money. So, there is that. Boom, boom, boom. But yeah, no, I play Assassin's Creed 2 again. I'm trying to think of something like new.
In between that as well.
I got one. I'm so stupid. I watched the new Studio Ghibli film, The Boy and the Heron, this month.
Oh,
I watched it, and it was really good. It was really excellent. I haven't really been invested in a Studio Ghibli film since Spirited Away, and this one actually
is it Miyazaki?
Played its part. What's that?
Is it Miyazaki?
Yeah, Miyazaki. Yeah.
Is this like his fourth U-turn or retirement, or is he actually still just making films now, like actively?
He keeps saying that like this will be my last one. I think he said The Boy and the Heron is going to be his last one. I'm like, okay. And then Joe Hisaishi, is the composer again for this one, and man, just another banger, dude. But this one, the music isn't as present as usual Studio Ghibli's, and I like it. I really like that there's some very quiet moments in this film. It's very intense. Think of like Princess Mononoke. Did I say that right?
Mononoke?
Yeah, Mononoke. Yeah. Think of that kind of like intensity mixed in with Spirited Away. So it's a wild ride. The Boy and the Heron. It's actually the #1 film in the USA. So like that was really cool. No, it was really, really, really cool. I liked it a lot. I won't say too much about it because I think you should go into this movie cold. Mm-hmm. But that's what I will say, is that it is worth your time. I think it's better than Ponyo. I'm gonna say that right now. Was that the latest? Wait,
it might have been.
Wait, did we not get a Studio Ghibli since Ponyo? Wait, I'm wrong. Hold on. There was a movie in between Ponyo and this one. Studio Ghibli. By the way, someone said Studio Ghibli. Am I also stupid?
No. Yeah, it can't be
somebody
Ghibli.
said Studio Ghibli. I'm like, excuse
By the way,
me?
You should tweet at Michel about it and see what he thinks, because he watches Studio Ghibli.
If you're cultured, you're watching Studio Ghibli. Like if you're
he's an art director as well. I'd love to hear what he thinks about this film.
I would love to hear it. No, I'm okay. Feature films. Bang. Okay, 2020. Earwig and the Witch, The Red Turtle. These all come out, and I don't think any of these came out in USA though. If I'm stupid or not. Yeah, so Ponyo was in 2008. Oh, From Up on the Poppy Hill. Let's go. From Up on the Poppy Hill. That was Studio Ghibli. From Up on the Poppy Hill. Let's go, dude. Anyways, sorry. I'm just rambling at this point. Boy and the Heron, excellent movie. If you have access to it, Really, really, really good.
Good picks. Before we move on to it as well, Assassin's Creed, you mentioned it before as well. Which is better, Assassin's Creed 2 or Brotherhood? And also, what is the best Assassin's Creed to date?
Oh, to date? Oh God.
So obviously, you can scratch like last.
Assassin's Creed Origins is the best. No. I was just thinking that because like Brotherhood. So Assassin's Creed 2 and Brotherhood, dude, it's wild, man.
Do you want me to tell you mine?
Yeah, go for it. Which one's
so?
better?
I think Brotherhood's a better game overall because the gameplay has just improved and the story is a very good continuation of it. Even though the second game in itself is very, very good as it is and holds up to this time as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think the best Assassin's Creed game overall is Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag because that ship mechanics were a lot of fun. I spent overall gameplay wise, not the strongest story, but the strongest gameplay by far.
Because like you gotta argue that like is Assassin's Creed 4 an Assassin's Creed game?
Yeah,
like that's the thing.
That's the one that gets away with it. Like that,
yeah.
Compared to the other ones recently. That's the
like
one that
Unity is more of an Assassin's Creed game than 4 was, but I think 4 was a more fun game in of itself.
Yeah.
No, if I'm gonna say the best Assassin's Creed game, I'm saying Brotherhood. Both answers.
Yeah.
I think Brotherhood is the better game. I just have more nostalgia for 2 because I remember being just amazed. Like the difference between Assassin's Creed 1 and 2 was so vast. And I was like, whoa, am I playing the same game? But Brotherhood just like improved on that so well that it just kind of like that continuation. And then there's Revelations, which is it's all right.
It's just there.
Yeah. They had buck teeth and it was a weird art design. No, I think Brotherhood is probably my favorite, but I just keep going back to 2.
Yeah, fair enough. I respect those. I think 2's got a very beautiful story. Even like collecting all the feathers and then putting them in the box as well and getting the kind of like the final definitive mark of that story is quite poetically beautiful. No, generally speaking, it's good. I'm kind of like really against advocating for remakes and remasters now because it just seems to be the trend every like couple of months down the industry. But I think if one game could get remade and just be improved for the better would be Assassin's Creed 1 because the story is great and the gameplay is good, but it was too repetitive and too constrained for its time. Like you could basically make a great game out of that. So instead of making
same kind of remake as Dead Space got, because Dead Space got remakes on the story, like how it ends, and I think that's what Assassin's Creed needs.
Yeah, because that was my issue with Resident Evil 4. Resident Evil 4 was a really good remake, and I don't really like keep promoting remakes, but at the same time, that game was already a 10. So it's like when you're remaking it, and you're making it almost like beat for beat, very similar. And there's not much you radically change in terms of the mechanics because it's already so radical in itself at that time, the third person shooting and stuff and over the shoulders. But that Assassin's Creed 1 game could easily get radically transformed as well because in itself, Altair couldn't swim. He just like falls into a river and falls like a log. So it's like there was limitations in the game. It was such a dated game, but great story, great concept, great everything. So it's like that would be one where I'd advocate it for it. But anyway, because I know we've gone for a while, I'll do my spread the arts here, which is I've been rewatching something very similar to Lost Records in terms of its vibe and its time period and everything else. Friends. I've been watching a lot of Friends recently.
How is?
Because it's in the 90s,
man. Do you want to
get
punched today? Like, what do you mean? That's the same.
It's set in the 90s, man. It's set in the 90s. Lost Records is set in the 90s. It has
I watched Seinfeld. It's exactly like Lost Records. Like, what are you talking about?
Might be. Might have some inspiration.
Stop it.
No, more so in the sense that it's appropriate for my time where it's like from the 90s. Friends, it's great watch. I'm rewatching it for my boy Matthew Perry, Up in the Sky. That was such a hard hit in 2023. But no, it's just I always go back and watch Friends at certain points in my life, and it becomes more poignant every time I watch it. Especially as an adult, it's brutally poignant as well. Just like you can feel like you can relate with them. But great TV show. Aesthetically fits its time. They're just like doing some of the things now. It's weird how like dated it is as well. Like some of the references like VHS and the recordings, like let's go and get Die Hard out on VHS, and it's like imagine a kid watching that now. It's like why don't you just like Netflix it? It's like, well, we didn't have Netflix back then, did we? We had to like go to Blockbusters or a VHS store, and if you turned up too late, you'd get charged for it as well.
Yeah, like we just watched Home Alone with a Gen Z person, and they didn't understand the problem with the alarm clock. Like, why didn't their phones go off? And it's like there were none. It was just the alarm clock, dude.
Like, what? I saw Michel tweet about this. Do you know, he said like, name me 5 things of your 90s, like you know, that remind you of the 90s. I was like, Michel, I engage in that tweet. That's making me too nostalgic. And you're currently making a game where you're using my childhood as the precursor. No, no, no. I still feel 20. I will always be 20. I don't age. Time stopped at 2020. We're still young. Like,
honestly, dude, it really has. But anyways, Friends, all about lost records. Got you.
Yeah. There's a link there. There's a link there.
Yeah.
X amount of friends that are together, characters. Yeah. The 4 characters in the Lost Records will go to Central Perk, drink coffee.
Yes.
No, generally, it's just because it was the 90s vibe from it, and I just felt so nostalgic. And every time I watch it, it becomes more and more relatable, painfully relatable. But yeah, watched it, enjoyed it, love that show, great show. Compared to modern TV as well, I've seen a couple of TikToks where people are talking about it. It's like saying that younger people are going back and watching Seinfeld and Friends and stuff because basically all their TV shows are getting renewed and then cancelled after like 2 seasons.
Yes.
It's like, actually, we had Friends for 10 seasons. Even if you didn't like it, it was the biggest piece of TV in the late 20th century, 21st century, and it got 10 seasons. Imagine Stranger Things trying to get 10 seasons.
And it wasn't really a miss on seasons on Friends. There wasn't a season where you're like, oh, skip season 7, you know?
Yeah.
Like, all of them
for me
were a hit.
Yeah, for me, it had a perfect ending, and it carried on for as far as it could at that point, and the story ended. I was like, perfect. Don't need any more. We're done here. And it's like, that was like the peak area. Same with like Seinfeld, same with like Fresh Prince, same with all these TV shows from the 80s, 90s, 2000s. They were basically like, you would be invested in the show.
They're going back to Gilmore Girls, dude. Like, they're all going back to Gilmore Girls because like that was all quality television. And I said this like when I reviewed Gilmore Girls in my other podcast, that, you know, like as much as the series pissed me off in terms of storytelling, at least it gave me that. At least it gave me some emotion and something that I could like really like sink my teeth into. Like, why would they do that? Versus like now TV is just like, okay. It's just like, it's the worst feeling to feel meh about a TV show. You know, I'd rather be angry about it than meh.
I think it feels mad because you just spoiled for choice. So even with like Netflix and stuff, and like the funny part is all these streaming services are now becoming the new cable because Amazon's putting adverts into its content next. On Prime, if you saw that. So it's like they're basically going to become cable because they were offering cheap alternatives whilst taking hits on profits. And now they're going to basically turn into cable because they want to make money off it. And they're going to introduce all the things that put people on cable. So it's like,
that's the thing, dude. Oh my God. But that's the thing. I think that's why Boy and the Heron was so successful in the USA because like it's so interesting. Like it's just so out there and you have to see it multiple times to get it. And it's just like movies nowadays, like Wonka, as cute as it was, it's just kind of like it's Wonka again. Like, what are you gonna do? You know? Versus The Boy and the Heron, like Miyazaki's like, I dare you figure out the bubbles. I dare you figure out the bubbles. like no, you can't. So like that's what I appreciate about Japanese films, or even just like any films that's not US. Like literally, Ghost UK is far superior than Ghost USA. I watched an episode of Ghost USA. Garbage. You watch all of Ghost UK, there's nuance, there's beauty, it's cute, it's nice, like it's a good series versus USA version. God awful. Like suck on a toe. Like no, stop it.
You butchered a lot of our TV shows that you took over there.
We
In Between
do.
was another one for us.
Except for The Office. The
Office was I'll give you The Office. I'll give you The Office. That was the one exception where it's actually like that's reasonable as an adaptation, so I'll give you that.
That was the one that we got.
And House of Cards, actually. I'll give you that as well.
There was a British version of House of Cards?
Yeah, it's heavily adapted off it. So it's not nowhere near as similar, but it's like it's inspired by a TV show that was set in the UK Parliament called House of Cards. So it's like I didn't know quite a while that. But anyway, we'll wrap up here because we've almost at the 2-hour mark. So I hope you all enjoyed it. This is obviously the first episode of StrangeCast for 2024. Let us know your thoughts about Let us know your thoughts about Lost Records in the comments. If you want your comment read out on the next episode, leave it in there as well. We'll pick out the best one and throw it onto the next episode. We'll have a little chat about it. It's always nice to engage with people who come to the YouTube channel and want to share their thoughts. So let us know. But either way, we're done here. If you are new here, please do drop a subscribe, turn on notifications, like the video, and share with your friends on YouTube. Helps us support with the channel, helps keep up to date with the channel. A lot of content coming to the channel that is just purely on the YouTube channel, so do go and check it out. And the StrangeCast is available on all your podcast services. So we're on Spotify, we're on Apple Podcasts, we're on all of them. And if you can give us ratings on them, that'd be great as well, because we only have 1 rating on Apple Podcasts and we have like 12 on Spotify. So any more ratings would be very helpful. When I mean any more ratings, it means 4 stars or above. Don't give us any more than that.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you so much for joining us. It's great to be back, and obviously a long year ahead of us, all the way up to 2024, late 2024, covering Lost Records. So we'll be on top of that all the way through. Until next time, guys, see you later. Bye.
Later.
Ready for the mosh pit, Shaka Bra.